Hello, everyone. I'm Ikuo Kawauchi from Japan. Today, I would like to talk about understanding Japanese business culture, opportunity and lesson for Indian startup. At first, I will talk about the investment opportunity in Japan. Japan's economy is slowly picking up. Real GDP is growing positively. Private consumption recovering. Domestic demand, including capital investment, expanding. Private consumption is recovering, but rising consumer prices, food service and energy costs are restrained consumption's growth. Japan's dependence on trade with China has grown rapidly, as you know, over the past 2 decades. The risk of China in terms of the economic security is a critical factor for Japan's economic outlook. Consumer and inbound demand is recovering. The degree of recovery varies from industry to industry due to soaring cost of material due to energy prices and weak yen and uncertainty in Chinese economy. Next, I would like to talk about the good point to invest in Japan. There seems to be 5 aspects like this. So first point is a prosperous and reliable free market. Developed free market providing broad entry opportunity. Active use of FTA to build superior access to global market. World-leading industrial competitiveness that calculate high added value. Next, innovation ecosystem open to the world. Technological powerhouse with world-leading R&D capability, abundant intellectual asset and high innovation orientation provide opportunity for new value creation. Japan's government implement mission-oriented industrial policies like these 6 pillars: carbon neutral, digital, economic security, health, resilience to disaster, biomanufacturing. It's an important factor. So if you should remember that. The third is an outstanding talent base, outstanding human resources supported by high educational standard. Fourth is the excellent business environment and stable infrastructure, convenience access to major business districts in Asia, and convenience transportation infrastructure throughout the countries. The fifth is a livable society, providing a safe and security living environment with the world's highest standard medical system. Next, I would like to expand startup opportunity in Japan. As you know, Japan as a country and Japanese people tend to extremely cautious, steady, avoid risk, basically. Therefore, starting a business, investing in new ventures, providing management support has not been very popular. However, with Japan's declining birth rate, increasing the aging population, declining economic power, business world is gradually changing, and startup are being nurtured. Environment startup is changing, which is surprising in some way. However, the pace of change is very slower than in other countries like India. As you are well aware, high percentage of startups fall to do well and go out of business. Recently, however, these have been some startups in Japan like this have overcome such difficulties and grown into large businesses. There are various reasons for that, but basically, the success factor is they match the market and respond to the need of the time. What is particularly noteworthy over the past 1 year is the change in the government attitude. Japan's Kishida government has announced 5-year startup development plan. The plan is to increase startup tenfold over the next 5 years. 10 million yen funding, 100,000 startup, 100 unicorn. For that, Kishida government has presented 12 initiatives like this. Japan has never had a system and a structure to foster startups. Therefore, this is an ambitious plan to establish radical comprehensive system and structure. The plan has 3 pillars. First pillar is building human resources network for startup creation. Second pillar is strengthening the supply of capital for startups and diversifying exit strategy. Third pillar is promoting open innovation. It's impossible to increase number of startups tenfold in 5 years by domestic forces alone. More and more and more foreigners must enter the domestic market. I have always said Japan cannot survive unless it either accelerate overseas expansion or introduce people, goods, money from abroad. Japan's government is finally adopting such a policy. In this sense, one innovative policy that is relevant to foreigners like you is startup visa. Startup visa is designed to increase the acceptance of foreign entrepreneurs, promote entrepreneurships. The program is implemented by local government that has received accreditation from the central government. In principle, the program is available to foreign nationals who will start a new business local city within 1 year. Applicable standard has been established like eligible business fields like this. This mechanism has only been in place for about only 1 year. So it's implemented on special exception in local government like this. So designated by as National Strategic Special Zone, NSSZ. Although there are slight differences, each local government has implemented almost the same basic framework in line with the central government policy. This is an example of a Hokkaido model. National Strategic Zone, Special Zone, NSSZ, was designated by government to boost international competitiveness of industry and promote the creation of a center by giving priority to advanced structural reform of economic city. There are main target sectors. There is a sector Japan is currently focused on and require new technology and new business, like urban regeneration, medical care, nursing, sightseeing, agriculture, forestry, foreign talent. It's good to keep them in mind. One thing that has changed remarkably in the past 1 year or so is startup event and community place has been established in Japan, mainly Tokyo. In February this year, Tokyo Metropolitan Government held mega startups event called City Tech Tokyo. Great number of startup professionals from domestic overseas gathered at the event. Most of the startup specialists feel, and I also feel, it was a great success. According to a friend of mine who is in charge of an event, second event is planned for next year, May. At Toranomon, Tokyo, there's a big startup community place named CIC Tokyo Venture Cafe. They held startup event almost every week. I have also made several presentations here. Among the event, Rocket Pitch Night Festival, the biggest event. The next Rocket Pitch Night will take place on November 30. Hundreds of startups will make a pitch, and several thousand startup professionals, domestic and overseas, will participate in this event. Shibuya City, one of the Tokyo metropolitan 23 cities, is designated as a NSS threat and has organization called Shibuya Startup Support, which executes the startup visa. They hold startup events regularly. I have a close connection. I'm a mentor of Shibuya Startup. Next, I will introduce 14 business areas are currently attracting attention in Japan and are expected to grow in the near future. One aspect is an energy-related business. Offshore wind, solar, geothermal, hydrogen, fuel ammonia, next-generation thermal, nuclear power. Next is transformation manufacturing related. Automobiles, storage batteries, logistic people flow, civil engineering infrastructure, aircraft vessel, carbon recycle, materials, food, agriculture, forestry, semiconductor, information and communications. The third is a home and office related business. Houses, building, next generation power management, resource recycling, lifestyle. Japan-India Industrial Co-Creation Initiative was announced by Japan's government 2 months ago, July, to advance the quality of place of Japan-India Industrial Corporation to a new level in order to promote. Japan government will work on creation of future industries through innovation, evolution of existing industry, expansion in new market in Africa and elsewhere, reinforcement of cooperation implementation system. So, 4 areas which are listed as future industries: semiconductor, hydrogen ammonia, digital, transition finance are very, very important, especially important. Japan has declared its goal of becoming carbon neutral by 2050. To achieve this, Japan's government has created a regional decarbonization roadmap of what each individual person can do and organize zero carbon action 30. It consists of 8 categories and 30 items like this. This is a policy that encourages strong awareness of sustainability on every Japanese people. Japanese people awareness as a consumer is shifting towards a strong interest in global environment sustainability. Businesses are also preferred to meet such consumer needs. Business related to these items are also called green business. If you are considering doing business in Japan in the future, you may want to know these items. This awareness need for green society, green business has not suddenly taken root among the Japanese people and Japanese society. There is a Japanese word, mottainai. Mottainai has many meanings and is a very beautiful Japanese word, reflects the ancient Japanese spirit of valuing things and make the best use of things and abilities. The spirit of Mottainai has been passed down in the heart of the mind of modern Japanese people. The effective production system of Japanese manufacturing industry factories effort toward circular economies, rise of the recycling industry and their system are by no means unrelated to Mottainai spirit of Japanese people. Business that solve social issues are also referred to as social business or social impact business. This is not the idea of using a profit of business for a good cause. This is the concept of business itself is a good thing. Doing business that is good for society. Such business idea has been deeply rooted in Japan for hundreds of years. In Japan, merchant from Omi shonen in Japanese, were very, very active. And Omi is today's Shiga prefecture near Osaka and Kyoto, and has the idea of doing business that is good for society. In other words, doing good for society. Their business philosophy was called Triple Win, Sampo Yoshi in Japanese. Good for seller, good for buyer, and good for society. If you are interested in Japan, you should definitely keep this word in mind. This year, India hosts G20. Japan hosts G7. India is trying to play a leading role in global south. India-Japan relations should enter a new phase. Various issues arising around the world today are difficult to resolve in bilateral relationships. I think multilateral framework is required. So in this means, India-Japan relation is a first step, not final goal. We should move forward with dreamy future goal much further ahead. Thank you so much for inviting me or for listening today. Thank you. If you have any question or need more information, please contact here. Thank you. Done, Bob.